Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farms. Peter here. Now what I wanted to do today was just show you a little bit of an update on what's been happening with, a bit windy today, what's been happening with our grass seeding from last year. Now what we've found is that as a part of the seeding process, and I was looking at the calendar, and it's been about 10 months since we put in some grass seeds, and they were perennials, and I'm just trying to think of the name now. Oh, plantain. Plantain was what we put through. Now, we also mentioned back then that, you know, rather than having the seeds sitting in the bag, we're going to put them out into the pastures or into the fields and wait for those environments to be right, and hopefully we're going to get that germination. Now, as the months went by, we had a little bit of growth, and you know, I was pretty excited. I'm like, oh wow, you know, my first grass seeds are coming up. And I did expect, or looking through the pastures, I thought, oh, you know, it's a bit of a hit and miss here. We were more like, you know, probably about 60-70% strike rate. And I thought, oh, you know, is that what's normal? Is that not? Whatever it may be. Anyway, didn't think much more of it and just thought, okay, that's obviously what happens here. Our soil conditions mustn't have been right, or whatever it may be, or if that's normal for when seeding in seeds, especially over paddock pastures like what we have here. So remembering we're using the Cosmo Bully, and which is a no-till disc seeder, and I'm just trying to think now, there's probably maybe 12 discs on the back there that sort of cut through the ground. And now going back to where we were starting, is that we've had a fair bit of constant rain, but light rain, nothing heavy, and it's all just been 5 mil here, 10 mil there, whatever it may be. And I've come through the pastures and I am absolutely blown away, because I reckon I'm now close to probably about 80 or 90% strike rate. And so my percentages have grown exponentially. And I think what's happened is that the conditions weren't right in the soil. And so with our key lines and everything else that's going through, because we've all been seeding on the lower side of our key line cuts, we didn't have enough moisture in those soils at that time. The key lines were too new. So now it's been, 10 months now, and it is amazing. Now I'm going to have to get down, I'm going to have to get down onto the ground to show you really what's going on. But since then, we've had all our legumes have turned up, and I've seeded those as well. I've sown them back in, and I can show you what's going on there. All right, so I need to turn the camera around. I'm on my own today, so I'll see you soon. All right, so this is just an example, and you'll be able to see it. It's the very, very light green leaves that are coming up, and then certainly in rows. Now, this area is probably a good area just to start with, but I mean, I'll show you some other examples. But you can see it sort of, it runs, you'll have to sort of follow the lines. But this area here, we didn't typically have much growth. And so what I'm absolutely stoked about is that it's really, really coming up. And then this is now, like I was saying, 10 months. So this has been 10 months in the ground, waiting for those conditions to get right for these seeds to germinate. Now, these are perennials, which I've then since learned that are a lot harder to start off. But once they've started, then it makes life very, very easy. So that's sort of what we're looking at there, and this is going to be something that we're going to mimic in other paddocks. Now, if you look over, and I'll have to sort of come across, you'll be able to see the new cut lines from what I've been sowing today. And so the disc seeder is cutting through the existing pastures and then dropping the seed. Now I'll be able to, hopefully, you can sort of see the seeds in that little cut. They're the red ones there. Here's another. You can sort of see the seeds running through. Now these seeds here are all our annuals. So what my theory being is that, and I should have done it the other way, but we've started now, is that from a key line cut here, we do annuals and then perennials and then annuals back down towards the next key line cut. Now if you can sort of see here, so I'm now coming down, I've left spaces when I was sowing originally for something like this, and so I've got more grass seeds running through there. Now I've got my annuals, so all my like cowpeas, and this is a custom blend, and I've got about 9 different species of legumes, and there's millet and cowpeas, all my legumes. I think there's sunflowers in there that I saw. Thanks, rain, in the bit of a photo bomb. And then we're going back up to more grasses and back up to our key line. So this is typically the pattern that I'm going to be following, and as things progress, like next year, what I'll do is at where we are now here with our grasses, I'll cut through there and put some more legumes in. Where the legumes are here, that'll get a perennial grass, and so on and so on. So I've always got that sort of diversity running through, because I'm really trying to aim to get, as you know, in theory I'd love to have close to about 100 different varieties of grasses and stuff like that. I don't think that's probably achievable, but I certainly want to get to at least the 20s, and then start building from there. So anyway, look, I just thought I was really super excited about what was going on, and now that I can start seeing all our little grass seeds coming through, that'll then also break up with all the native grasses that we have here, and then start our diversity through the pastures. All right, we'll go find some other areas, and so I'll catch you soon. I'll see you soon. All right, so here's just another example of really what blew me away, actually. We've been doing some hay feeding, and we've been then rolling it out onto the pastures. Hopefully that, you know, the theory being is that if there's any seeds left in that hay, they're going to be stomped on and sort of put back into the dirt, and then we can at least get some sort of germination. And that was the theory, because this spot behind me was a fairly patchy area, and so hence this is why we rolled this out, because I'm really chasing that 100% cover for the pastures. But as it started to grow, and then after all the hay had been decomposed and everything else, you can see that it's turned luminescent, and that goes on. It's like one of the best cricket pitches in the world, I reckon. So it's sitting there sort of, and it just goes on, you know, obviously the length of a big roll round bale of hay. And I was thinking to myself, you know, a lot of the grasses look the same as what we've got. But then it sort of dawned on me that the pasture that we've brought in, and I did request it, was that this is a fertilized, so it's got, well, let's say it's just a fertilized pasture that has been cut for hay. And what it is, that's what you're seeing behind me, is the residue coming from the hay. And so it's that luminescent, because we're quite a neutral green, I suppose, because we're going sort of al natural, and not trying to bring in any of our any chemicals or anything like that, or any fertilizers. We're just sort of doing it naturally. But this one here just stands out, and I just went, what is going on there? You know, how fantastic. And then it was just like, oh wow. So yeah, it just shows you that, you know, even when you're bringing in hay, you're still getting a residue. And I'd be interested to see, and I'm not prepared to do it yet, but I will dig under this to see if that residue has really affected any of my soil microbes. And I'm hoping that it hasn't, because it was, you know, such a small amount. And these pastures here, like when we bought the place, you know, it was probably abandoned for about 4 or 5 years. So we've been working, getting these pastures right. So it's the pastures have had a lot of time not to be fertilized, because I think that this was, and originally. And so, like all grasses, where it needs that that input every year, it'll be interesting to see what this strip does next year. You know, I might get back to my bald spot, because it just won't grow, because it won't have those inputs that we're going to put in. So that's just something that we're just going to have to manage. Anyway, look, we'll head further up the paddocks, and so I'll see you soon. All right, so here's another section. Now we're a little bit higher up, and you can, I might have to point them out, but you can start seeing the rows of the perennial plantain coming through there, of the grasses. And this one here was just an experiment above one of the keyline cuts. I just wanted to see really what was going on. So this has worked, and I think this is probably more about the rain that we've had versus really soaking into the ground. But as you can see, you know, I had nothing here probably come 6 months ago. It was all just native grasses, and this plantain is sort of just popping up. So it becomes quite distinctive in those rows, and you can see it being a very different green compared to the other pasture. There's a bald spot that I'm working on at the moment. But yeah, so it just sort of goes to show you that you're better off having the seeds in the ground and waiting for those conditions, rather than having them sitting in the shed in a bag. You know, get them out there, get them in the ground. And because I was, you know, a little bit concerned that you know, are the seeds going to go off being in the ground, or whatever it may be, because, you know, I'm a first time grass seeder, so to speak. And so yeah, but look, it's really coming through, and there's thousands and thousands of little plants. You know, if you have a really close look about what's going on, you know, you can sort of see, you know, there's a lot of plants there, a lot of plants. And really I'm amazed that it's still here, because this is all being pretty much smashed by the kangaroos. So, you know, they've obviously found it. You know, I can see a lot of the tips have sort of been half eaten, some haven't, but I think that's what it's all about. It's all about safety in numbers, and if you plant enough of it, really, it's going to work out. All right, now what I'm also going to do is show you a spot where we did another experiment with the blackberry mulch, which is again further up this paddock. All right, so I'll see you soon. I thought I would just stop here, and there's probably just another example of where you can see all the grasses starting to come up. I might just see if you can pick that up there. And then that's the line there. You can see all the rows. And then just down from it, we've started our new one. So again, this is with our our no-till disc seeder. So you know, only because it was quite prominent that we've got our key line, we've got our perennials sitting in this section. Now we've got our annuals sitting here, and then what I'll do is there'll be our perennials and then annuals, and so on, going back down the hill. And so this is, now that I can see really what's going on, that'll be our methodology really sort of moving forward. And sort of, you know, every 3 months, bang, truckloads of seeds, and, you know, and then coming back and then overseeding again, maybe with you know, different species, and trying to find out what works and what doesn't. So it's all going to be just a matter of time so that we can start getting that diversity in and working with these natural grasses that we do have. All right, I'll see you soon. All right, now this is the area that I wanted to show you. Now what you can see behind me now is a big brown area, and that was one of the original blackberry bushes, which covered that whole area. And then you can see sort of grass in between other brown areas and all that sort of stuff. And that was just really the wildlife and the cows, whatever else they had here at the time, were making paths. But it's this brown area here that, looking at the calendar on this is a year ago. So we've mulched this, geez, I don't know how many times now, probably about 4 times from the initial cut, and all that mulch is sort of going back into the ground. Now this was dust, absolute dust, and if you remember, what I was hoping is that from the original layer of blackberries, that would have been enough to start building up sort of a microbe regeneration sort of in these where the blackberries were. That was the theory. And so we've been watching this, well, yeah, you know, really over the last year, and nothing, just dirt, yuck, you know. And now what's happening is that it's slowly all turning into soil. Now I'm going to flip the camera around, and I want to show you, because this here is where on one of those pastures we were using the mulch, the blackberry mulch, as a cover for grass seed. And like I said, I think I even responded to quite a few people going, nah, it didn't work, waste of time, rah, rah, rah. And I looked back now and I have got grass everywhere. So that just goes to show you again, keeping the grass, or keeping the seeds in the ground until those conditions are right, really are paying off. And so what, yeah, look, what I'll do is I'll get a little bit closer, and then we can go from there. All right, so here we are. So, you know, what you can see here, and it looks like a lot of straw, and that's all the dead blackberry vines and things like that, or canes I should say. And in between you can start seeing all this perennial grass come through. And like I was saying, this is what we did with that little manual seeder. So this is one of our sort of little experiments that we were mucking around with on one of those videos. But you know, it was quite a large area, and really what I am just absolutely blown away that we have got so much grass coming through. You know, we have got truckloads from really a barren section of nothing, which has now turned into, you know, and I still think this has probably got maybe another 6 months or something like that, but this will, or has, started to repair itself. And that's what it was all about. Now don't get me wrong, I'm looking down there, and you know, I've got a few different things coming through. I've got a bit of bracken fern heads coming in. I can still see some little blackberry leaves pop up, but compared to what we originally had, and this is what the you know, I get so excited because that's got a tinge of green to it now. It's just absolutely fantastic. But it's and this is really what the CSI are saying to us, is that, you know, it's around about the 4 cuts. And this year what we did is I gave it a really good mulch before the frosts, and it seems that has worked an absolute treat. Now, coinciding with the 4th or maybe the 5th cut, and again what's happened, more mulch has gone back onto the onto the ground, and we're getting these right conditions, and the grasses just started to come up. So there you go. I retract everything that I was saying about using blackberries as a cover crop or mulch bed for grass seeds. It absolutely works a treat. All right, so as you can see behind me, I've still got some other areas to do, which I'll now concentrate on, because I can do them by hand rather than, because then I can get a full cover mix is really what I'm chasing, rather than just using the disc seeder going in through in rows. So, but there you go, you know, it's all coming together. So for all about leaving your seeds in the ground and letting the conditions be right, and having the soil or the dirt turn into soil, and having those conditions right, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.